Good morning from Southern Arizona. This is Laura. In my attempt at truth in advertising, reality on social media. Oh, my box is breaking. Oh. I have a box for donation, but the side is breaking, so I'm going to have to rethink that. I have a second box, so maybe I'll just put it in that. It's been a minute, I'm sorry. Trying to do every week, but summer is getting to be a challenge. Oh my God, it rained all night last night. Just like on and off, real light sprinkle, which is unusual. So we've got pretty high humidity, like 44, 48%, something like that. We're not used to that. We hover around 15 until monsoon season. And monsoon season is when we hit usually 36% humidity or up. And this is a little early for monsoon season. However, they're now saying monsoon season is mid-June to mid-September. I remember 25 years ago when it was mid-July to the beginning of September. And it was usually 15 to 30 minutes of heavy rain every day in the afternoon. And you'd get flash floods, but the flash floods would only last for a few hours, 12 hours at the most. Because we get flash floods here because our ground is so hard, it's called caliche, that the water can't seep in and out or down. So when you've got ground that's more moist, it's easier for the water to soak into it, and then it either just gets like an overripe sponge, or if you step on it, it bubbles up, or it seeps out, whatever. But we're not supposed to get actually a monsoon season this year that's normal. It's going to be really light, and temperatures, we've already had record highs in Phoenix. I'm an hour south of Tucson, approximately, very close to the Mexican border. So I deal with lots of the border issues. And we have lots of Border Patrol friends, lots of people that are just picked up and then let go. It's crazy. I wish we lived in a better world. That's about all I can say about it. It's awful that people are in such dire straits, that they have to make such huge sacrifices. But I think people in all levels of society feel that way at times. But their sacrifices just don't measure up to potential death at trying to get somewhere else, to still be poor, but somehow have more purpose, have more food. I mean, good God. I wish the world was better. So here's my update. I have some projects to update. I've been trying this summer. Here's an old fat squirrel bag, and I have a Braille reed pen because I am the blind librarian. And so I packed my, 2 at a time, long socks that I'm turning into 2 pairs of fingerless mitts, and I made zero progress. Zero progress. Because of course this bag turned into, we went on this, we were going to take a couple nights in Silver City, New Mexico. So this turned into my little purse bag. So I've got an EpiPen in here, I've got Kleenex, I've got a napkin, spare car keys, some ibuprofens, some Tylenols, and all my knitting paraphernalia, which is my TV glasses because I can sit like this and knit below me. My yarn needle and scissors, a pencil. I have 2 extra needles because I thought that I would get done with this chunk while we were gone and then need the extra needles to go to the next step where I would find my spot, put them in again like this, but then put them in again on the other side so I could break them apart. Guess what? Our 2 nights in Silver City turned into 1. It's about a 3-hour drive from where we are. So we decided to stop at a couple of landmarks on the way to make it a little bit longer, to eat a meal. One of my children, her perfect holiday is just eating out all the time. And yet, so we ate out at all these restaurants while we were gone. And yet she didn't really eat that much. But when you go on the holiday, I really worked at it with Dad. This is holiday. We're going to have holiday mindset. We're going to tip heavily. We're going to order whatever they want, within reason. If they can order off the kids' menu, great. But they can try different things, whatever. And if they don't like it, we can't take it back to the hotel room. I'll get to that in a minute. And so we're just going to enjoy it. Well, it was fun for us as adults to see the reaction of tipping well. So we were at one Mexican restaurant on the way out of town, and we're at a different town on our way there. And this older couple was at this other table, and they were a little grumpy, and you kind of got the impression maybe they weren't locals. But they also brought meals to go with them. So that means they ordered 4 meals. And you know what 4 meals cost today. That's $40 right there, minimum. They had drinks while they were in the place, so that's another $10. So they've got at least a $50 bill, probably more. Because I know that, because I just happened to overhear, I know that the meals that they were ordering were not the full plate meals. But the meals they had on their table were the full plate meals. So those were like $20 meals. So $40, $50, $60, $70 is more like what their bill probably was. So you'd figure like a $15 tip, so like $85. They left before us. My husband was like, they left $3 on the table. He's like, you didn't see it when the waitress came over and she looked down. He's like, her face started to like almost quiver. He's like, she looks so disappointed. And I said, well, they might, they might be on a fixed income. They might not be able to do more. I mean, that's what these high prices are doing. It's really screwing the service staff. So that was our first meal out. So we decided to tip heavy while we were out as part of our vacation. And if that meant like we ate 1 less meal while we were out, we were fine with that. So we get to the hotel. I'd reserved a suite because we do better in a suite where my husband can stay up a little bit later at night if he needs to, or if he's having a coughing fit, he can go to another room, not feel like he's bothering anyone. His sleeping is much more difficult these days. And since he was our primary driver, because he doesn't like to be in the car when my son drives, and Silver City is crazy. Like, it's very hilly, but you're going down this big, huge hill, and there's stop signs here, halfway down the hill. You got to stop. It's very strange. And there's lots of extra lanes, and it's just, and the street lights, red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, up and down, go side to side. So that's a little different. And there's usually 5 to 6 lights per deal. So they're doing a lot of arrows and stuff. Okay. And so that was a little bit crazy. We get to the hotel. They've downgraded us to a regular room. They're full. Their pool hasn't been working for 2 weeks. I only made the reservation a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago. You'd think if something major in a hotel was like that, that they'd send out a mass email to people so they'd have the opportunity to switch. So I go in and I'm like, oh, well, but that was like our primary function. And what about where are your tennis courts? Because it says you have tennis courts online. I'm assuming that means like pickleball or something. I said, so we brought all of our stuff. And she's like, no, we don't have that. It doesn't say that online. I pulled it up. I'm like, yeah, it does right here. So I go out to the car. I tell her I'll come back in a minute. I'll go out to the car. I'm like, there's only one other hotel in this motel, hotel, whatever. Hotel in this town that's got a pool. You either get restaurants attached or you get a pool. I wanted my husband to have some downtime so I could be at the pool with my daughter. And that would help him recover between driving back and forth. And I call the other hotel. They're booked. So I go back in and I'm like, well, they're booked, so we're stuck, but we're only going to stay one night. You know, we were going to stay 2 or 3 nights. We were going to get a second room. The reason we didn't get a second room when we signed up, when I made the reservation, is because they won't reserve you 2 rooms next to each other. So room assignments happen when you check in. So you could get rooms on different floors, whatever. That's not going to work for us. But if I'm committed to that room, so there would have been a commitment fee. Like if I would have canceled the day we showed up in our suite with the second room, because the suite there only had a king-size bed and a pull-out couch. And we do better with at least 2 beds, if not 3 beds, because I can sleep with one of the kids, but my husband doesn't do well to sleep with the kids. And he wasn't going to sleep on the pull-out and have me sleep with the 2 kids in the king-size bed, because that would have worked. But they said if I then canceled the second room the day we showed up and we got our room assignments, there would have been a fee, like a $100 fee. And I'm like, well, then I'll just add the room on the day we get there. I didn't foresee us getting downgraded because we like having the suite where you've got the little kitchenette, because we don't like actually eating out every meal. My kids are like daytime snackers. They just kind of graze the whole day through. So it's nice to be able to have some Gatorades in the fridge, some sodas for my husband, and some snacks. And that would also have helped us have like less meals out, even though that's a fun part for my daughter. I was not thrilled. We were all like, okay, this is one of those vacations. So we went out to dinner. We went and we found that the high school had open tennis courts. So they like weren't locked. So we went and played tennis, ate out, and got up the next day. We're going to the continental breakfast. And you know, that's always hit or miss. But you think in a little bit nicer place that you're going to have a decent continental breakfast. It was awful. But we did it. Then we went to McDonald's to get something, to get better coffee, and checked out. And then my daughter got some hash browns that she likes. My son likes the scrambled eggs and the sausage patties. Because he's a teenage boy and he needs a lot of protein. I need a lot of protein, so I ate that as well. We decided to hit a ghost town on the way home. Nothing online says you need a reservation. Nothing online. It's these hours. These are when the tours happen, you know, basically every hour on the hour. So, you know, we're all kind of worn out because going there and back, it's just a lot. My son doesn't like driving in the car, and we got him those car sickness glasses. So a lot of people with car sickness also have astigmatism, which is the misshapen eyeball. But these glasses they're just open, but they have this blue liquid here, and they're white glasses, and then they've got the two here. So the blue liquid, your eyes register a different horizon that helps counteract the car sickness. It only helped to a certain point. But Benadryl will help, or Dramamine, Bonine. I think it was just too hard on him going out and back like that. He's fine if he's the driver. So we get to the ghost town. We're all very, very excited. It's closed. Like, it's just closed. It's just closed. It doesn't say online that it's closed. It's just closed. But then it also says this other sign that looks not brand new, not super old, that you have to make reservations. So that was a bust. So then we found another place to stop and eat on the way home at a truck stop. And my daughter was so excited to get like dessert. They were out of dessert. But it was okay. So we finished, we got home, whatever. It's one of those family vacations. You gotta have those. You gotta have a couple of those. And I've been working on this. Remember how I was gonna make big squares? So each square, each color was actually like a 4 here. I didn't love it. I ended up getting a 10mm hook because the hook sizes I had like 8 and 9 and 11.5 and 12 and 15. Just weren't right. But the 10 is giving me this. And I'm liking it. My daughter likes it, so I may end up keeping it. I don't know. It's a goofy combination with this purple, but that's what I got in this lot from eBay that I bought. And I realized that this one that ties them all together is only like half a skein. But I think it will end up being at least twice as many squares as this. And then I might have some extra to go around the edging. I just don't know. I'm just going to use up the yarn that I have and either keep it or give it to a friend of mine who's a grandma as like a blanket over a car seat or whatever. And then this. Remember this one? So it is, I have a yardstick there. Let's measure it on the yardstick. The yardstick is telling me that it is probably 40 inches wide because it's longer than the yardstick. And then it is, I'm 5'4". It's pooled at the bottom and it's over my head. So it's definitely long enough. It's not quite as wide as I wanted it, but I think what I'm gonna do is just do a few rows of something to make it seem like there's more of a border. So maybe a few rows of some solid single crochet, and then a crab stitch on the very end, or a picot, I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna do some single crochet at minimum, like 6 rows, maybe more. People are like, why do you do the single crochet? Why wouldn't you just do a bunch more double crochet? Well, I could do a bunch of double crochet and then do just like 1 or 2 rows of single crochet. I just like to have a couple of rows, 2-3 rows minimum of single crochet on something like this that's very drapey, just to give the edge a little bit more stability. I don't know, that's just my deal. And when I was ordering the 10 millimeter, I found some 6 millimeter, which is a very hard size to find. So I ordered a couple of those because I'm in like a crochet phase. And then, remember this lovely mitten? I managed to get, I'm partially in making the thumb gussets, but can you see the problem? I know I did not make that first one on these. These are 4 millimeters. These are 3.25. I swear to God that it was a 3 something that I made those on, so it seemed logical, but this is not the right gauge. This is just absolutely not the right gauge. So I'm gonna have to look for a different 4 millimeter and start over, and hopefully I can match the gauge to get this done. But I only have 3 more weeks of summer vacation. And for truth in advertising, I'm now sweating. I'm in a room that doesn't have air conditioning. And it is humid. I mean, I grew up where we lived in 80% humidity in the summertime. 70, 80%. But you do acclimate to where you are. And I've lived here now 13 years in this stint. I lived 3 years previously to that. I had a break of about 7 years in the interim. And that's where I'm at. I hope you're making progress on your summer knits and crochet projects and having fun on your family vacations, even if they go haywire, because these are stories. These are the stories we have. That's all I got for today. That's all I got. I'm wearing these glasses more and more with the blue light protection or whatever. I'm thinking it's helping with some of my eye fatigue later in the day. I started it last year when I was in the library because I was on the computer so much. And I definitely think it does make a difference. I can't find the style of glasses I actually like with all of the components I like. I like a bifocal that you can see, not one of those ones you can't see. I like a certain squarish shape. This is not my go-to shape, but I don't love my just straight long hairstyle now. And I've been trying different products to like give it some more oomph. I really did like it when it was short. It just seemed to have more body. It seemed more full. When I have it long, it just seems to emphasize the thinness around my face more. But I'm gonna let it go, you know. We should have absolutely matching hair by the end of this next school year, a year from now. You know, we should have absolutely matching hair and see how that goes. I might have an extra year in there of that. She's very excited that I'm coming back to volunteer, and I'm excited. It's definitely something to do. It really changes the dynamic of our home life. My son is okay with it. This is his senior year. He should do just fine. But I think he's nervous about it for the next year when he starts college. He's going to go to a community college. And the one upside to volunteering is I will be able to take days off to be able to help him with things if necessary. you know, it gives my husband something to do, because he was doing dinners a little bit more often, a few days a week, which is kind of nice. It's a nice routine. I have felt very bored this summer, but we're trying to teach our kids how to be bored, and so that's good. Or not, or something. I don't know. You just got to kind of work at life day in and day out and keep going. And then take some time to be retrospective every once in a while to really give yourself a pat on the back for what you've come through. You're not always in the season of life that you want to be in. And sometimes when you are in the season of life you really want to be in, you don't recognize it, because those seasons tend to be a little bit busier. I'm just really excited that I've got a senior this year and that he's doing so well. And I'm trying to focus on all the positive things. My parents are good. My dad's doing okay. This last bout with the antibiotics seems to have really helped. But the heat, you know, the summer business is rough on everybody. So stay hydrated. Look with your heart first, not your eyes.